Hello and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. Well, in the last episode, we had our second investigation of the case Turnabout time travel, and today we'll be heading back to trial to probably conclude the DLC case of the game, and in turn conclude my journey with Phoenix Wright. So let's get started, I guess. So the one thing we found out yesterday is that Soren was there at the crime scene. I only hope I can get some testimony from him that'll get to the heart of the matter.
Mr. Wright.
Good morning, Alan. Look, I'm afraid you might not like the result of today's trial. Nevertheless...
So what is it? He can't be found guilty.
You brought it back to Hudson. What are you doing? Ellen, please, try to get a hold of yourself. Well, that was easy.
I believe in Soren with all my heart, so how dare you doubt him? Regardless of which one of them is found guilty today, it's gonna be devastating for Ellen, isn't it?
We'll just have to do everything we can. That's the best we can do, you know?
Trial is about to begin, Mr. Wright.
Alright, let's go, Maya.
Yeah.
September 23rd, 9 o'clock a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 6. Day 2, court is now in session. All rise. Court is back for the trial of Ellen Wyatt. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Let's see now, where were we?
In yesterday's session, we found out about the Sprocket family's conspiracy to cover up the murder of Douglas Bloomsbury with a second reception. Taking advantage of our collective shock, the defense, as usual, made a nonsensical claim, namely that there was a third person present who struck the victim.
Hey, don't try to make it sound like I made it all up. The defendant herself made a statement about the existence of a third person, and further investigation has only proven her statement to be true. Then I presume the defense intends to focus on proving the identity of this third person. Is that alright with you, Mr. Edgeworth?
Indeed, Your Honor. In fact, I perceive the defense will most likely attempt to name Mr. Soren Sprocket as the true culprit.
How did you... I'm sorry, I'm just smiling like a big idiot every time Edgeworth opens his mouth, because Edgeworth is just the best character ever of all time. I know a lot of people love Godot, but come on, Edgeworth is just like just a legend. Everything he touched turns to gold.
The driver during the accident that Mr. Sprocket's sister was the victim. Therefore, Mr. Sprocket had the motive to murder Mr. Bloomsbury. That's what you're planning to assert, is it not, Mr. Wright?
Am I that transparent?
Come on now, Mr. Wright. Did you really think the police wouldn't uncover this information?
Congrats on getting it in one, Mr. Edgeworth. Let me guess, Ellen.
Wrong, it's Sorin didn't do it, he's innocent.
Miss Wyatt, please.
He's innocent, I tell you. What is it, Mr. Wright? I thought your claim about the existence of a third person came from the defendant.
It did. This is just a minor hiccup. Did you not discuss your strategy for today with the defendant, Mr. Wright? Starting off on the wrong foot again is seriously cutting into my lifespan.
It would appear that the defense is in disarray. Therefore, the best way to clear things up was to ask Mr. Sprocket himself what happened. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call Soren Sprocket to the stand.
What? Very well, bailiff. Please bring Mr. Sprocket to the witness stand. And we're already off to a great start as usual. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Is he gonna throw a paper airplane out again? That's a yes. That's a definitive yes. Yep, there it goes. I know I've already sung this game's praises to infinity and beyond, but the graphical fidelity and animation quality is just so outstanding. There's something written on this paper airplane. Let's see. Soren Sprocket, Managing Director of Sprocket Aviation. Mr. Sprocket, please give your answers in words, not paper airplanes.
Now then, Mr. Sprocket. Please tell that doubting lawyer what really happened at the time of the crime. Well, Mr. Sprocket? Mr. Sprocket. Alright. You want me to talk about what happened when the crime occurred? In other words, after the first wedding reception, when Ellen and I were in the reception hall, right?
Because, you know, I think that's actually further evidence. Now that I'm consciously thinking about it, every time he says something, he's always flipping through his notebook, and he's not going forward, he's going backwards. Like, he's turning the pages as if he's reading the notebook backwards. And the only reason to be doing that is if he were searching at previous events to jog his memory. That's actually so goddamn smart. That's such a minor attention to detail, but oh my god, that's genius. Not even the power of the court can stop him from marching to the beat of his own drum. Alright. Witness testimony. Here we go. What Soren remembers, which is nothing.
I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall and I collapsed to the floor. The next thing I saw was Alan and Dumas on the Vista deck. I knew Alan was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. But when I got there, Dumas was already
dead?
I don't want to believe, but it must have been Alan. Nothing else makes sense.
Wait. You got there and she was already... What? Wait a minute. Hold on. This is... Oh, boy. So... Wait. So... Okay, I need to read that all again, because my brain just got confused for a second. Wait, just a minute here. You actually think Mr. Wyatt killed the victim?
That's right, Dumas was killed by Alan.
This is unbelievable. How can you suspect your bride, the woman you love?
Objection!
Let me guess. Feelings, the emotions don't matter here?
The truth can be cruel. Mr. Wyatt, you must be very upset. Is there anything you wish to say?
That's actually really heartbreaking. Oh, Jesus. Just the sound of the flowers just dropping to the floor as you, like... there it is, the exact moment her heart just snapped in half.
I thought that at least you would believe in me. The best way now to show your love for your groom is to admit your guilt and to try to atone. Sorry.
Hold it!
Mr. Edgeworth, I haven't even cross-examined the witness yet. And quit picking on the clearly distraught.
Yeah, that's still not cool, Mr. Edgeworth. A court is where we seek the truth, and the truth is unyielding even to the truly pitiful.
Mr. Edgeworth, I find it deceitful to make a lady cry.
Do you wanna... So what are you gonna do, Nick?
If the third person Alan saw on the Vista deck was Soren, then we have to prove Soren was there at the time of the murder. I don't see any obvious inconsistencies in his testimony we have to push forward. Okay, so... The thing I need to know is I forgot where he said he was during all this. He said, I was stabbed by a student's reception hall and collapsed to the floor. Okay, so he was in the reception hall. Okay, wait a minute. So I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall and I collapsed to the floor. So then Dumas goes to the... Give me the... I need to look at the map. Where's the map? So then he goes to the elevator, down to the cabin, to the hold, and up the other elevator to the Vista deck. All while you're just lying there on the ground being stabbed. No. Wrong. Incorrect. I'm sorry. Somebody would have noticed that you were injured and done something about it. They wouldn't just let you sit there, and then they also looked at the window to see that she was being attacked. Like, no. That's just... No. And then, okay, so then, but there's something else you say. You say, I was there, so I headed for the Vista deck, which means... So that means you would have had to go through that exact same process by the time you got there. According to where you say you were, there was nothing you could have done. You could not, unless you jumped through the window, like, just did a... And then just, like, somersaulted towards them. No. Just, when I got to Dumas was already... She was already what? Dead, I'm assuming you want to say? Are you absolutely sure, Mr. Sprocket? That by the time you got to the Vista deck, murder had already been committed?
Yes.
But the Vista deck is just on the other side of the glass windows in the reception hall. Shouldn't you have been able to get there right away? No. No, because he has to go all the way around. Yeah, but Dumas also had to go all the way around. This timeline doesn't work in either direction.
Mr. Watt, have you investigated nothing?
No, I know. I know the path you have to take to get there. But, okay, so then the other question is... Wait, hold on. Wait, Mega, hold on. Wait, I just realized something. Don't we have a record of who went down there? Yeah, exactly. Okay, hold on a second. So, there's no record of you going into the hole. No, you fucking didn't. You lying piece of shit. You did not go down there. What probably happened is you all went into the hole, and then you all went up to the deck above. Because there's no way you could have gone all the way around and gone up to the Vista deck in time. No, wrong, incorrect. This timeline does not work. No matter how much one hurt, it would have taken at least 10 minutes. Exactly! Well, that's unhelpful. But Soren had to have gotten there before the murder, or my claim won't stand. Do you have any ideas for me, Maya?
It's definitely easier to prove that someone did go to the hole than not. I mean, you can't leave anything if you don't go someplace, right?
Can't leave anything? Wait a minute, I think Maya's onto something here. The lack of a certain something actually proves that someone didn't go to the hold.
What's the matter? You stumped already?
No, I'm far from stumped, Mr. Edgeworth. I know for a fact that Mr. Sprocket didn't go to the hold.
You and your paper-thin bluffs. Mr. Sprocket's birthday on the lift proves he went through the hold. So what possible proof could you have that he did not, in fact, go through there?
You want proof? You got it. You can do this, Phoenix. There's got to be proof that someone didn't go through the hold. Well, Mr. Wright? This proves that Mr. Sprocket didn't go through the hold.
Take that!
As anyone can see from the hold entry record, there's absolutely no mention of Soren Sprocket entering the hold. The defense asserts that Mr. Sprocket used a different route to get to the Vista deck. What?
You could assert all you want, Mr. Wright, but can you actually prove another route that exists?
Can I prove the existence of another route to the Vista deck, you say? What the fuck? What the most... No. Okay. Is the most logical thing not that he was already on the deck? Because there was literally no other way for him to get there. There just wasn't. There just actually wasn't. Because they were flying into sky. So, here, wait. Do we have a map of the reception hall or something? I mean, we have this. Okay, so... I would assume that what happened is that you were... This conversation happened on the deck. So you were on the deck, so you saw it happen, so you would confront them there. Oh! Wait! The thing! Because the... Wait, okay, I think I got it. Wait, oh my god, that is so smart. Okay, wait. So, what am I looking for here? I'm looking for the drawing. Here's the drawing. Okay. I think I might have had this wrong. It wasn't that that something on the ground was flying through the air. It's that something that should have been flying through the air was actually on the ground. Because if this thing was parked just outside, facing the map, then Larry could have looked out the window to see that. And if the airship was on the ground, that's so smart. That is so goddamn smart. You know that door we found yesterday? If the thing was on the ground, then there would be no danger in going out the door because he would have just jumped on the ground, gone around, jumped over the railing, got onto the Vista deck, and he would have been there already and ready to help. Oh my fucking god, that is so genius. I mean, it could be totally... I don't have any proof that it was on the ground, aside from Larry's drawing, but... Larry's drawings have a history of solving cases, so I can't prove it yet. Well, now that I think about it, I guess it's going to be hard to prove, but I can't back down. The trial will be over if I do, so there's only one thing I can do at a time like this. I can prove it, even if it's just above. I have to present something. Anything could prove the existence of a fast route to the Vista deck. Well, very well, Mr. Wright. Sure was supposed to spark out to the Vista deck. I'll tell you how we got there. Mr. Spark made the Vista deck through here. If I can present the... This game is very finicky with what you present. It has to be pixel perfect or else it's wrong.
Take that!
To save his bride from danger, Mr. Sprocket opened the escape hatch and made his way along the outside wall to the Vista deck. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? There will certainly be a much faster route than Vista deck.
Objection!
I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. Is that really the best you could muster? That escape hatch is not meant to be used to get to a reception hall from the Vista deck. One step in, that's all it would take for Mr. Sprocket to plunge to his death.
Nope, because it wasn't off the ground yet. I have to disagree. The defense's claim is really stretching it. Alright, sorry, I have to agree. I understand how it sounds, Your Honor. But at this point, it's too early to definitively say that he didn't go that way. So that's what you're going to... that's what you're going with then, I take it? Of course, Your Honor.
This is real life, Mr. Wright, not some cinematic or comic book. Do you have some sort of logical explanation to share that would convince us of your claim?
Yes, I do.
Are you sure, Nick?
Kind of. Actually, I have nothing, so I'll just have to wing it somehow. On what do you base your theory that Mr. Sparkin made his way along the outside? My theory that he was able to go along the outside wall to plant the danger is based on... What? What? I'm assuming... Okay, these are all bad answers. These are all terrible. I'm assuming that what we're going for here is the sheer power of love would be enough to make him overcome his fear. But why don't we just go for the more obvious explanation, which is that the blimp wasn't off the ground yet. To say that Brady loves the groom risks his life and rushed to her side, Mrs. Sprocket was able to make it to the Vista deck despite the danger because of the power of love. The power of love? That's the power of love. That love is a source of strength that can help one overcome any obstacle. I think I can relate, thanks to my own long, happy marriage. Wow, he actually seems to be buying it.
The power of love, you say? That kind of logical argument is hardly viable in the court of law. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Edwards. You should never underestimate the power of love. You'll understand... Wait. You'll understand one day when you get married.
Which I won't.
Uh-huh.
Exactly what is so wrong with wishing to remain unwed.
Way to set him off, Your Honor.
Never mind, it's all this unscientific nonsense. Are you aware, Mr. Wright, at the time of the crime? There was a huge repair turning at full speed between the hatch and the Vista deck. If a person were to go outside through the hatch.
Just the image of the little S circle just going whee off the edge. It's just, oh dear.
They'd be blown away in an instant.
Ah!
Where does your power of love get you now, Mr. Wright?
A huge spinning propeller, you say? In that case, I have to admit it does seem impossible. Oh, I should have known.
Nick, you can't make that kind of face in front of your client. The worst of times when lawyers have forced their biggest smiles, right?
Right. I feel like I just saw Mia looking out at me through Maya's eyes. Is that the first time Mia's been referenced in this trilogy? I think that might be the first time in this, over the past 3 games, that Mia has been referenced. That's a nice little line of dialogue, though.
What's wrong, Nick? Why are you giving me like a giant sunfish?
Thank you, Maya. You just helped me remember something really important.
There it is. There's that fearless smile I was looking for. Now give us a mind-blowing theory just like you always do.
I have to turn my thinking around. Instead of wondering how Soren could have moved past a huge peril, I have to think about what would have made it possible for him to do so.
Your Honor, Mr. Wright only makes that ridiculous face when his back is pressed against the wall. Therefore...
Mr. Edgeworth, it's still far too early to discount my theory.
What are you talking about? The airship's large spinning propellers have already shredded to pieces.
But if we think a little more outside the box, I'm sure we can find a way he could have made it.
Stop trying to stall, Mr. Wright. I'm sure as how it could have been even remotely possible, if at all.
I must agree with Mr. Edgeworth. Very well, Your Honor. There must have been a way. Some way that someone could have moved along the wall in spite of the propeller. Now then, Mr. Wright. What specifically would have made it possible? Is this how it would have been possible for Mr. Wright to leave the deck? Yep, the airship wasn't flying. Yep, exactly. Exactly what we said. What would have allowed Mrs. Wright to go along the outside wall in spite of the propellers is the location of the flying chapel at the time of the crime. The location of the flying chapel? But wasn't it flying high in the sky? No, Your Honor, I'm afraid it wasn't. What? Then where was it? At the time of the murder, the airship wasn't flying through the sky, but more to the ground. What? And if the airship wasn't flying, then that means... the propellers weren't turning. Oh great, your pen clicking again. In which case... Mr. Sprocket could have gotten to the Vista deck alongside the outside wall. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? Ow, he stabbed himself with his pencil. It's gonna leave a mark.
Even if the propellers weren't turning, it would have been far too risky to go that way.
Ah, but Mr. Edgeworth, you're forgetting about the power of love. Yes, the amazing power of love.
Not this again. Very well, for the sake of argument, let's assume this so-called power of love made it possible for Mr. Sprocket to move along the outside wall of the airship. Can you prove that the airship was tied to the ground as you claim?
Yes, I can. Kind of. Well, I don't have any evidence to prove where the airship was at the time. I mean...
You can prove it, can't you? You can't prove it, can't you?
Maya, can you think of anything we can use to prove it?
Can't say I can. Oh, wait! Didn't somebody see something outside a window at the time of the crime? I think I remember someone saying as much.
Do I have a piece of evidence that shows what was outside the airship?
Well, what are you waiting for?
This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the crime.
Take that!
This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the murder.
What kind of lousy drawing is that?
It's a drawing made by Larry Butts.
And what can you prove with that poor attempt at artistry?
You of all people should know. Larry made this drawing before he switched the lantern, so it must have been right around when the murder was being committed. Now, if I could direct the court's attention here. Is that a pterodactyl? Does that mean that the airship actually went back in time to the Cretaceous period?
Objection.
We've already proven that time travel is nothing more than a gimmick, did we not?
We did, and I have no intention of bringing up that argument again. But this drawing shows an important piece of information. It shows us the airship was actually moored to the ground.
And what makes you so sure?
That's easy. All you have to do is consider who made this drawing.
Larry.
That's right, it was Mr. Butts, and we both know what he's like. He must have seen something else and mistaken it for a pterodactyl.
I can't argue with you there.
Hey, what is the one dog on second here? What kind of morning are you gonna see me for? You do not want me to answer that question. I saw with my own eyes. The pterodactyl flew up in the window. I tell you, no, it didn't. You idiot. I'm sure it's an artist. Don't you believe me?
No.
Nick. Nope. Some friends you guys have. What about the judge? You believe me, right, Your Honor? I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you need to leave the courtroom. Bailiff, if you would. Come on, buddy.
Come on, buddy, let's go.
Why did anyone believe me? Because you're so full of shit, and you always have been. I'm taking it personally, Larry. I know you're just being, well, you. Ahem. Now then, so you're saying that what Mr. Butts really saw bears some relation to what was outside the airship at the time of the murder? Yes, Your Honor. At least, I think it does. What this pterodactyl really is will prove that airship was anchored at the mooring dock. It had better anyway. If it doesn't, my whole argument is a bust. If you're that confident about it, then please go ahead and tell us what it really was. Yes, Your Honor. This thing, Phoenix, what could that pterodactyl have actually been? I'll tell you what it was. It was this.
Take that!
Please take a look at the sign. The sign? It appears to have been broken and unrepaired. But what does the sign have to do with the pterodactyl? Please focus on this part of the sign. The part that's broke off and got reattached? What about it? How about if we turn it like this? Oh, that shape, it's the pterodactyl in the drawing. But what Mr. Butts actually saw was this chunk as it was being blown through the air by wind! What? We totally f***ing called that. And we did it so goddamn early. On the day of the murder, there were some heavy winds in the area of the mooring dock, but it's hard to imagine that this sign would make it up as high as an airship would fly. That means the flying chapel must have been anchored at the mooring dock that night. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket?
Objection!
That's more than enough of this power of love nonsense, you pop culture junkie. Present all the proof you want, but
Oh, by the way, there's no way that's a coincidence. There's no way that they reference the power of love in a... there's no way they accidentally, I should clarify, reference the power of love in a case which partially involves time travel. And if you don't get that reference, that means you haven't seen Back to the Future, and you should really see Back to the Future, because it's as close as you're going to get to a perfect movie. Anyway.
present all the proof you want, but your argument is based far too much in conjecture. Why don't we return to reality now?
What do you mean, too much conjecture?
Even if the airship wasn't flying, that alone doesn't prove the witness went along the wall.
True, even though it's no more than a possibility. Then how do you propose Mr. Sprocket got to the Vista deck, Mr. Edgeworth?
I noticed something as I went over the evidence. Please take a look at this whole entry record.
What about it? I don't see Mr. Sprocket listed on here anywhere.
Don't you remember? In yesterday's session we had a very similar kind of argument.
Did we?
Honestly, Mr. Wright, are you going senile already? We talked about Larry Butts using the Phoenix key card to enter the hold.
We did talk about that, didn't we?
In other words, even if a person's name isn't on the entry record, it's still possible for that person to have entered by using someone else's.
And whose card do you propose he used? Because, where's the list? Here's the list. Because that would mean that Persnickety would have been there, which I don't think is the case. And Ellen wouldn't have used her key card because she would have already been there. Whose key card are you proposing he used?
Mr. Sprocket, you entered the hold of Mr. Nickety, did you?
I did. What? Why did you tell us that in the first place?
Paris is indispensable. I didn't want to mention him unnecessarily and risk having him wrongly accused. I couldn't do without him.
Mr. Sprocket, may I ask that you testify in greater detail about your movements that night? Okay. Witness testimony.
Truth, I went to the Vista deck with Beerus. That's why my name doesn't appear on the hold entry record. I was badly injured from being stabbed and I was frantic. By the time we reached the scene, it was all over.
Okay. Well, this doesn't help me one bit.
Mr. Sprocket, you've concealed information from us time and time again. Who do you think you are, treating this court of law with such reverence? That being said, I do appreciate the testimony you gave just now. Thanks to you, we now know why your name doesn't appear on the entry record. Now that there are no more inconsistencies in the witness's testimony.
That's Mr. Edgeworth for you. He never leaves in a loose end dangling. You okay, Nick? I wouldn't exactly call the situation okay. Somehow we'll have to coax the information we need for an opening out of him. If I even can, that is. Okay, well, time to start pressing for more information. There's one thing I definitely want to press, which is that last statement where he's like, it's all over, which is incredibly vague. And then I guess I can ask more about why you went down there with Pierce. I mean, I can guess, because I'm guessing he was like, I can't leave your side because of the retrograde amnesia, which we don't have any proof of, but the more we sit here, the more I'm convinced that it's going to end up being the case.
I just didn't want police to take up his time with all the questions, that's all. Neither the company or the household would function smoothly without him.
I see. Wow, it sounds like Pierce is absolutely indispensable to the Sprockets. Anyway, getting back to your statement, when did you meet up with Mr. Nickety?
Went up on the way to the Vista deck. I think Pierce and some of my relatives were on another floor. The police said they heard the commotion and came running to my aid.
You could hear the pandemonium all the way from another floor? Mr. Wright, of course we're going to have it added. Yes, please, Your Honor. Very well. Okay, great. I still want to press the, this. By the time we reach the scene, it was all over. So you still insist that you reached the Vista Deck after the murder had occurred? Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. Ella must have killed him. There's no other explanation. I guess whether Pierce was with Soren or not doesn't change the outcome.
I guess not. In fact, more witnesses actually makes it worse for us.
So another cover-up, huh? And Soren has too many secrets. I bet he's still hiding other things, too.
That's definitely a possibility, but in a situation like this, what we have to do is go back to the basics.
You can go over the testimony and check for any lies or inconsistencies?
You got it.
Alright, Nick, let's go for it.
Okay, well, that didn't lead us anywhere, so I must have missed something. So I was here in the whole injury record. I was badly injured being stabbed, I was frantic. Why were you frantic? Speaking of your injury, how are you doing now?
Knife wound is deep and continues to throb with pain.
Okay.
Fortunately, my internal organs were spared. But one wrong move would have spelled the end for me there.
Even if so, I've seen you... Wait, it can't be that deep. Because... Yeah, I can't imagine it's that deep. Even so, I've seen you up and about all over the place since the incident.
I'm only finding my Archosaurus to perform some daily Okay, I was going off the assumption that the knife wound couldn't have been that deep because this candelabra isn't exactly that, like, the tip isn't exactly that deep, so it couldn't have gone that far into his, the wound couldn't be that deep. But, in my haste to prove that, I didn't even realize what he said. He said the knife wound is quite deep. But he wasn't stabbed with a knife, he was stabbed with the candelabra. I didn't even freaking realize that. And you know what that means? You know what that means? That means we're going down the route that he doesn't remember. He does not remember it happening in the slightest. Oh, we called it. We freaking called it, too. Mr. Sparky, you said you were introduced to the knife wound, didn't you? But the weapon you were stabbed with was this candelabra. A fact I know you're quite aware of. It must have been a simple memory slip that made it misspeak. It happens to everyone. It has nothing to do with the case.
Oh, that's where you're wrong, Edgeworth. That is where you are catastrophically incorrect.
You must be pretty desperate to point out something so minute.
I have to agree, Mr. Wright. You hardly need to make such a big deal of such a small mistake. No, I don't think you understand. I do not think you understand the implications of this. I couldn't find anything else. This is the only thing I have to go after.
And I say it's not important. Now, let's not waste any more time on this matter.
I agree. Everybody has a little memory lapse every now and then. Yeah, but his memory lapse is a little bit more intense than that. But Your Honor, please let me explain. But can you? Can you really explain to this court what makes this slip so important? Yes, I can. Yes, I can, Your Honor. After all, it was Soren himself who told Pierce that he had been stabbed by a candelabra. This is more than a simple memory slip. There has to be some kind of reason for it. Well, Mr. Wright, please explain why this slip of the tongue was so important. The point is to focus on here is why the witness would make the mistake the weapon used to stab him. Think carefully, Phoenix. This could very well change the course of the trial. I see. So why did the witness make that mistake, Mr. Wright? Mr. Spark identified the wrong person used against him because he has no memory of it. We so freaking called this. He doesn't remember the incident, let alone the weapon used against him. Not only that, but I believe Mr. Spark has some sort of memory disorder. Therefore, the defense contends that Mr. Spark's testimony thus far is invalid.
Just because you can't find a flaw in the testimony, you want to throw it all out? Your basis claim has nothing but pure study of the witness's character.
Mr. Edwards is correct, Mr. Wright. Can you explain what your grounds for making this claim? Of course, Your Honor. Think of what Soren has said now and how he's behaved. That's where I'll find a clue. Very well. Let's hear your argument then. My grounds for claiming that Mr. Sprocket has a memory disorder, is his notebook. The notebook he always has with him. I saw daily events and information about the people around him recorded in it. Like a diary, perhaps? No, Your Honor, it's too much detail. It's much too detailed to be an ordinary diary. It's more on the order of a database, actually. A database, you say? That's right. For some reason, Mr. Sprocket is apparently unable to retain memories. That's why he writes every little detail of his life down in his notebook.
How could you possibly know that for sure? He might just be an extremely compulsive person.
I thought so too, myself, at first. To be honest, we accidentally got a stain on that notebook yesterday.
You mean you got a stain on it?
Hey, you're the one, which, by the way, the fact that you got a stain on it first just doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
Never mind whose fault it was, just get to the point already.
Right, sorry. Mr. Sprocket. The page missed fake on the stain on yesterday. That's the page with the details of your stabbing on it, isn't it?
No, I only write in this notebook because I'm very compulsive. Now drop us something already.
Sorry, but I'm not convinced. I've noticed an odd fact about your notebook, Mr. Sprocket. On the early pages, you used it to write down invention ideas, but after a certain date, you started writing down a lot more and on much more detail. I believe your memory disorder stems from what happened on that date. Something so monumental it caused a memory disorder, Mr. Wright?
You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I absolutely do. Sorry, but I do know what I'm talking about, and this is my proof. This is the thing that caused Mr. Sprocket's memory disorder.
Take that!
You were involved in this car accident too, weren't you, Mr. Sprocket? And the shock of losing your beloved older sister is what caused you to develop your memory disorder.
Is that true, Mr. Sprocket?
Well, is it? Mr. Sprocket! Yes! Oh my god, we freaking called this! That's so ingenious. The littlest detail that he kept flipping through his notebook, but he wasn't flipping forward, he was flipping backwards to read the details that he wrote down. That's such a small detail, but oh my god, that's incredible. What?
Ever since that day, every time I go to sleep, I lose my memories. And when I wake up, the most recent thing I can remember is the day I lost my sister. It's as if I'm constantly going back in time.
What? That's truly tragic.
An inconsolable time traveler who goes back in time whenever he goes to sleep.
I mean, you know what? That's actually kind of clever. So that's what Soren meant. He was talking about himself.
The reactions of the people around me each time I woke made me aware of my condition. That's why I decided to write everything down in my notebook so I can move forward.
So the only memories you have since that day are the ones written in that notebook.
That's right.
And since that page about your stabbing got stained, you couldn't read from it, could you? There's just one more thing I'd like you to clarify for me, Mr. Sprocket. Exactly what are your feelings towards the victim? Mr. Sprocket's feelings towards Dumas Gooseberry? That's right, Your Honor. The witness said that every time he wakes up from sleep, his mind goes back to the day his sister died.
Mr. White, you can't mean.
Mr. Sprocket! Your pent-up feelings of anger and resentment towards Mr. Bloomsbury for the accident were renewed each and every time you woke. Were they not? But you couldn't take it anymore, so you turned to murder, isn't that right? Well, what? Mr. Wright, are you saying that the witness murdered Mr. Bloomsbury for revenge? Ugh. Well, Mr. Sprocket? Miss Wyatt?
Your Honor, I did it.
Oh, great. Here we go again. We're doing the whole Turnabout Academy thing. Yay. No. What? Here we go again. You know, this was kind of creative in Turnabout Academy, but now it's just dumb. And you were on such a roll there, Mr. Turnabout Time Traveler. I guess you really meant it.
My Soren didn't do anything wrong. I'm the one who should be convicted.
Are we to understand that you're confessing your guilt? No. Just wait a minute here.
Alan, why would you cover for me? After I testified that I thought you must have killed him. I'll admit, I couldn't believe my ears at first, but all I want is for you to be happy. Your happiness is my happiness, Soren. But without my notebook, I'd even forget those feelings for yours by tomorrow, knowing that you still feel this way. You've loved me all this time, the same way you did before the accident. That's how I know that you're the same person I've always loved. Notice what I can change that. Ellen, Your Honor, there are two things I'd like to correct.
Two corrections? What are they?
First of all, I want to withdraw one of my statements. That's right, you was killed by Ellen. Without memories to rely on, I took the police completely at their word.
You can't be serious.
So that means Soren never really doubted Ellen in the first place, did he, Nick?
Ellen really does love Soren with all her heart, but in order to save her, I'll still have to go after Soren. I hope you can forgive me, Ellen. And what is your other correction, Mr. Sprocket?
The truth is, I never felt anger or resentment towards Dumas about my sister.
What? Why not?
That's because the one who caused the car accident was me.
What? Order on the court. Please continue, Mr. Sprocket.
I'm the one who killed my sister. To protect my career and my future, my father made Dumas take the blame, in exchange for the money and the position of lead servant.
Okay. Oh, Soren was the one driving. Oh, okay.
So you see, Dumas must have held a grudge against me, not the other way around. And he must have attacked Ellen to get his revenge on me.
Are you sure about all this, Mr. Sprocket?
Very sure. It's all been written down in detail in my notebook.
The notebook is important evidence supplying background to this case. I must insist you submit it as evidence. Soren's notebook has been added to the court record. Oh boy.
Well, I said I had turned to murder, but that's just not true. However, it is true that my little sister and Dumas are both dread because of my—
Okay, yeah, but that doesn't rule out the possibility that you saw Ellen being attacked by Dumas, and then you decided to protect her, and then that led to you accidentally killing him. I just glanced through Mrs. Parker's notebook. I wasn't able to read the part about when he was stabbed due to the bloodstain, but that's written here about— well, what was written here about the sister's car accident is here is exactly as stated.
Your Honor, as long as the matter was written in that notebook, can we still take the witness testimony's valid in spite of the memory disorder?
Yes, I believe we can.
I understand now that the witness's memory is in disarray, but if what Mr. Sprocket himself wrote in this notebook is true, then what that means that by the time Mr. Sprocket's party reached the scene, the victim had already been killed.
Edgeworth's right. I'm still in the same bind as before, but should I really simply accept the contents of the notebook as a substitute for Soren's memory? Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think? Would you accept Mr. Sprocket's notebook as an official representation of his memories? Will I accept Mr. Sprocket's— absolutely not. Wait a minute, Your Honor. The defense requests a chance to examine the notebook to see if it's trustworthy. Very well, but be quick about it. Thank you, Your Honor. So how should we examine it? Well, we should see if— what are we looking for? We should see if— well, we should look at it from all different angles, see if there's anything suspicious. Okay. Well, I guess we can open it first things first. There's no point in if I don't look— there's no point in if I don't look at what's inside. I have to open it. With your permission, Soren, here I go. Yikes! Oh, it's just the page mine got all stained. But I guess it's not going to be very helpful at this moment, so I'll keep going. Oh, this is the last page that was writing. Something about this page is right. Yeah, the fact that it's been torn out, but they're still writing. I better take a closer look. Okay, well, for as cliche as it might be, we just have to take a pencil and then just scribble in— I can't move the freaking hand. Just scribble in on this page right here to figure out what was written underneath it. But there's clearly something written on the torn page. Huh? The page has been torn out, and it looks like there's something written on it. And let me guess, this is when we're gonna use the fingerprint powder to figure out who wrote it, because it looks just— the handwriting is distinctly different. It's a much bigger, like the writing's much bigger than what the rest of the page is. Looks like the page has been torn out here. Mr. Sprocket, do you know what was written on it?
oh, that? I often tear out a page when I write something on a note. So I probably wrote something down for somebody to write out and give it to them. That solves that, then.
Objection!
Wait a minute. We can't ignore the possibility that something important was written on that page. But now that the page has been torn out, how can we determine what was written there? We just have to scribble in the page underneath. Well, let me see. To find out what's written in the notebook, we should— okay, I mean, we can use fingerprint powder, I guess, but the logical thing to do is to just scribble over, like, shade in the page underneath it to see what was written there. If we use fingerprint powder in the notebook, we might be able to see what was written. Fingerprint powder? How would that help us find out what was written there? Well, if the writing left indentations on the blank page behind it, fingerprinting powder could make those small indentations visible to the naked eye.
Oh, stop. Fingerprinting powder would only soil the notebook further.
Mr. Wright, if you use the powder and still don't find anything, then you must accept the notebook as a representation of the British memories. Alright, Your Honor, I understand. If I don't find anything, it's all over anyway. Powder, don't fail me now. I will now use fingerprint powder on the blank page to find out if we can see what was written on the torn out page. Oh boy, here we go. First, I have a spot to dust with fingerprint powder. When I dust it on— yes, thanks, I know. I didn't already forget how this works. Okay. So, we just have to like, dust around this point, I guess. And see what we uncover. We have a lot— wow, we have a lot to work with. Okay, so do you want me to dust— you notice that our supply isn't going down all that fast. You want me to just dust the entire thing? Like the whole page? Because we have a lot of material— we have a lot of materials to work with this time, apparently. Okay, I can't make the whole page, but I can make almost— yeah, that's almost the entire page. Okay, so, yes, blow. Okay, there's writing here. I struck and killed Dooms. Oh, there you go. There you go, buddy. Okay, so, do we just analyze this now? Analyze. It's annoying that you can't move the hand, specifically. It says, I struck and killed Doomis. This is huge. There you go. There's your proof. I mean, it's not proof, but, I mean, come on. I struck and killed Doomis. Although, again, though, I still don't think it was— like, I don't think it was him that wrote that. Because, or maybe— yeah, I still think it was him because the handwriting is a lot bigger and less precise than the other pages. Struck and killed Doomis. The says what was written on the torn out page. What? It can't be.
I don't believe it. There has to be some kind of mistake. Someone could never.
Miss Wyatt. Bailiff, please get the defendant to the infirmary at once. Apparently the defendant got too worked up, so he's resting in the infirmary as we speak. Now then, please continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor, this notebook is all Mr. Sprocket has to remember things by. With this critical page torn out, not even Mr. Sprocket himself knew the truth of what he'd done.
I'm the one who killed Dumas? So it wasn't Ellen. Oh, thank goodness.
Mr. Sprocket, does this mean you were at the crime scene during the murder after all?
I guess I must have been.
Soren's notebook updated in the court record. Mr. Sprocket, can we really believe...
Nobody touched the notebook but me, and when I sleep, it's on a lock and key. I don't remember writing that I killed Dumas, but I guess I must have.
Well? I mean, there is one person who had the notebook in his... It's persnickety, yeah. Because he's the only person that would have had the notebook in his possession when Soren wasn't around. I'm afraid I must render my verdict. Over.
Yes, Your Honor. Please give your ruling now while Ellen is asleep. I want the woman I left to be set free as soon as possible. Soren really does love Ellen after all, doesn't he?
Yeah. So this is how it ends, but is that how it really went down? Is there really no way for them both to be happy? I know we should consider anything written in the notebook to be the truth, but still.
I myself wrote the crime in my notebook. No further proof is necessary.
Soren himself wrote in his notebook? Wait a minute. Very well. I will now give my verdict. Ellen's about to be found not guilty and Soren will be convicted for the crime instead. And yet, am I really ready for the judge to get... No, we're not. No, not when there's still one more avenue left to explore. This court finds the defendant Ellen Wyatt. Your Honor, there's still something that bothers me about that notebook. Oh, is there?
What are you doing, Mr. White? All you have to do is keep quiet and your client's a free woman.
I know, but I think there might be more to this case than meets the eye. I'm not quite sure yet, but I think there still might be a way for Ellen and Soren to be happy. What do you mean by the more than meets the eye, Mr. Wright? I believe the question here, Your Honor, should be, why was the incriminating page torn out in the first place? Why, to destroy the evidence, I would imagine. But removing it from the notebook is the same as removing it from Mr. Sprocket's memory, which means he wouldn't have been able to trick the police if he came under suspicion. No, if he wanted to cover up his crime, he would have had to remember that he had done it.
Just what are you getting at by this line of inquiry, Mr. White?
Yes, please explain it so that we can all understand. Yes, Your Honor. The page was torn out in the notebook because somebody else tore it out. And that would be persnickety. The incriminating page was torn out by somebody else. What? Order! Order! Are you claiming a third person interfered with the notebook? It's not all that surprising if you consider what's happened up until now. After both the car accident and the murder of Dumas Bloomsbury, there was always a cover-up not far behind.
But I have a notebook with me.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't, did you? Because I remember you were in a panic yesterday because you couldn't find it.
That's true.
So who orchestrated the particular cover-up, Mr. Wright? If we think back to over the course of the trial, I think it's pretty easy to guess. The only one who may have tried to tamper with Mr. Soren's memories is persnickety.
Take that!
The one who tampered with the notebook in order to manipulate Mr. Sprocket's memory is persnickety.
Persnickety tried to tamper my memories? Pers was manipulating me?
Case in point, the two receptions that were held to cover up the murder. It was Mr. Nickety who directed the guests and orchestrated the entire scheme.
No, it can't be. Which of my memories are mine? Which of them rewritten? When did he start rewriting my memories? Who wrote this? And this? And this? And this? And this? And this? And this? Ah!
What? Oh, okay, bye. Okay, Buzz Lightyear. He literally took off. What? What? What?
Look, Nick, he's coming back down.
So he fell with style.
My memories, Ellen.
Great, now they're both passed out. Mr. Sprocket, Bailiff, please get Mr. Sprocket's infirmary on the double. Mr. Sprocket has been taken to the infirmary. We don't have to worry about him running away, so let's resume where he left off. Your Honor, The defense would like to call Persnickety to the stand.
We already knew he carried all the cover-up to protect the company, Mr. Sprocket. What more do you want from him?
This time it's different. The notebook, or rather Mr. Sprocket's memories, have been tampered with. That means the only person who knows the whole truth is now Mr. Nickety.
Don't tell me, are you actually trying to drum up a third suspect in order to exonerate the defendant and her groom?
I'm not drumming up anything, nor do I have grounds to accuse him of anything yet. All I know is that Mr. Snickety is the only one who knows the truth, and I think he's still hiding something. Something we don't know about yet.
No grounds yet, is it?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution consent to calling the witness to the stand?
It does, Your Honor. However, I would like to take a little time to talk with the witness before we do.
Very well. We will break for a 20-minute recess. Holy hell, this episode was so good. That was so good! Oh my god, that was incredible. Wait, music? That was such a good episode. That was so good. So many clever reveals. I don't know how they're going to top this. Because apparently we still have more trials, so I don't know. I can't imagine how this is going to keep going. Alright, well, that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time with Catch You All. Tomorrow for some more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. Goodbye.